Here at Cross Country Coach Ward Berndt. Coach, as we've talked many times now, you've had a week off of rest. Get ready for UW Eau Claire this Friday. Let's dial it back to the last meet that you guys had at Notre Dame. Some very solid performances from a number of your runners. 2 meets into the season, are you about where you want to be?
I think so. It's a little bit hard to tell after 2 meets. Our first meet on the women's side, our first 2 meets on the women's side were both 5Ks. So with the young women's team, we're going to be doing our first 6K, and it's going to be a little bit different for them. Most women actually prefer the 6K after they race it, so it'll be good for them. On the men's side, we definitely got to see their first 8K. We got to see where they were at, and as of that point, we're definitely feeling pretty good about ourselves. I think the guys surprised themselves even a little bit too, because we hadn't had a lot of feedback before then. So once he had that feedback, we felt pretty good about it.
You know, it's interesting on the women's side, very young team. A lot of people still kind of getting their feet wet, kind of getting used to collegiate running, and on the guys' side, a very veteran team. From the women's side, who's looking good? Who's impressed you so far?
I think it's going to be a rotating top 5 throughout the season. So Allie Thiel, obviously, she's always been one of our top runners, and she's healthy right now. She's running good right now. She has a sister who's doing pretty good too. Erica's showing herself that she can be running towards the front of the pack. And we have a few others that, kind of depending on injury, I mean, with freshmen, it's always a little bit touch and go in terms of training-wise. So it'll be really interesting. But Emily Ortiz has been one who's actually really surprised me and has moved up in the group too. So it's fun to watch her and just really see her progression too.
And as we're talking on the guys' side, we're going to hear names that we've heard many times. Talk a little bit about where we're at on the guys' side.
Javon's doing what he normally does. Like, starts a little bit slower, then he builds as the season goes along. And we're seeing that in practice too. And if he's healthy, we're good to go. Austin O'Hare is definitely a lot stronger this year than he was last year, which is really good to see. In practices, him and Javon have actually been able to help each other out in intervals too, which is refreshing in so many levels. It gives them training partners, but also you know quality's running with quality. But then we have a couple of sophomores too, other sophomores like Brandon is showing that he understands cross country much better this season and knows how to handle the 8K race too. So it's fun watching him. He's already had a lifetime PR by 40 seconds, I believe, the last meet in his 8K. So it'll be interesting to see on a much faster course what he can do too. And
actually, this weekend's a big weekend at UW Eau Claire. A lot of schools that are from this area now. So rather than the meet you did the National Catholic Championships, where it's all these strangers, going to be a little more familiar in terms of the team names. What are you looking for this Friday night? How do you place stock in what's going to happen on Friday?
Unfortunately, it's not going to be a lot of MIAC schools, it'll be more YX schools, but that still gives us pretty good feedback as to what's going on too. I think the most important part for us is still take care of what we can take care of, handle our race, handle our paces, and just make sure that we're moving in the right direction and doing stuff. The women did a fantastic job of setting themselves up for the meet this last weekend. I expect to see that continuing. And the guys, they know what's going on now. I think this year I'd like to see them compete a little bit more than just showing up at the race and having their time. So I think that's our 2 targets for this one. The results ultimately doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of our conference rankings, but it does give us good feedback so we know we're going against a bunch of nationally ranked schools.
Middle of the season, UW Eau Claire Invitational this Friday. Good luck, Coach.